I recently bought this 2018 Audi R8 and I've actually already put 3,000 miles on it, but I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance to film another video with it until now. So today we're going to talk about why I bought another R8 V10. My first R8 was a Gen 1 gated manual V10 Spider, and to this day I still very much regret selling it. This car here though is a 2018, so a Gen 2, the second generation V10 DCT. For the second gen, there was not a manual transmission available, which is part of the reason why the Gen 1 gated manuals are going up in value so much, and you could only get these with a V10. There was no longer a V8 available. This one here specifically is a R8 RWS, the rear wheel series, 100% rear wheel drive. No power goes to the front wheels. Effectively, the first rear wheel drive Audi. And a big reason why it's now called Audi Sport for the high performance RS and R8 models, no longer Quattro, because this does not have Quattro. Now, something else special about the rear wheel series is they did limit it to 999. So there's a plaque on the dash that says one of 999, and 320 came to America. But Audi promptly made that no longer really a special thing anymore, because the refresh of this Gen 2 is rear wheel drive as standard. So I never bought this car with the intention of having the most rare R8 or anything like that. I actually have 5 reasons why I chose to buy another R8, and let's hop in the car, drive it, and we're going to talk about some of these reasons. All right, we're on the road now. Let's talk about some of the reasons why I chose to buy another Audi R8, specifically a Gen 2 V10. I was looking to purchase a car that could be more exotic, daily drivable sports car. And daily drivable means you want it to be pretty solid and reliable, and I believe the R8 really checks that box. When you talked about daily drivable supercars, really the 911 Turbo S was the principal option for a while, despite not being the most exotic looking or the best sounding or something like that. But the R8 really has become one of the great options there for that. This 5.2 liter V10 has proven to be very solid and robust. I mean, it came out in the Gallardo LP560 and then the Gen 1 R8s and now into the Gen 2s. There are people who have put 100,000 miles on Huracans, R8 V10s, and they've been pretty solid. Maintenance is not insane compared to things like the 430 Ferraris or even Gallardo's earlier ones. Those can get pretty pricey. I believe they worked out some of the issues that Gen 1 R8s had with the subframe, the AC compressor. AC compressor is terrifying those, and the mag ride always leaks on the Gen 1 R8. It's almost inevitable that your magnetic ride shocks will leak. But with the Gen 2, it's proven to be pretty solid, and that's a big reason why I wanted to go for this vehicle. The next one to have a daily drivable sports car like this is it needs to be comfortable. And at 6'3", I don't really fit well in like something like a Huracan. Ferraris are ergonomically pretty good. Same with Porsches. I do fit pretty comfortably in it. But if you want this 5.2 V10, the Huracan, it's not the most comfortable. Spent some time in this orange Performante they had for a bit, and like I had to put the seat all the way back. My head is barely brushing the roof. I've spent 8 hours before in a Huracan. I was on a road trip. I spent a good amount of time in a Huracan, and it just, oh man, it got brutal after a while. My friend Josefa just bought a Performante Spider. Go watch that video we did together. If I sit up all the way straight because it's the Spider, my head is above the roofline. Like, it's above the windshield. Again, it's just not the most comfortable. Whereas this R8, I've got headroom, leg room, like it feels spacious. It's quite comfortable in here. Now, this is the RWS, so we have fixed 10% stiffer Bilstein dampers, no adjustable, not magnetic ride. So that would be, I think, a little bit of a downside for this, specifically in terms of all-out ride comfort. But in my 3,000 miles I've put on it, I don't have any like complaints about it at all. And that would be the third reason, the engine. This engine is phenomenal. When I was shopping, I was considering a couple of options. The AMG GTS, AMG GTR, love that car. I think it's a great platform, great powertrain. The 911 Turbo S, a 991, super fast, super comfortable, practical, everything all around. But then I spent some time in a Huracan again, and I was like, oh, I need this 5.2 liter V10. It revs to 8,500 RPM, naturally aspirated. This one makes only, I think it's 532 horsepower, rated at like 540, so it's the lower output, but it's mechanically like identical to the V10 Plus on the Huracan, which is 600 horsepower. So easily capable of 600 horsepower with a tune, which I plan on doing. This engine is just, we're not going to have many more engines like this. Naturally aspirated, high revving, decently high displacement V10s. I say decently high displacement because a Viper 8.4 liter V10 makes this thing look like it might as well be a Camry motor. But anyways, this is a great engine, and it's just truly special. It sounds good, it feels amazing, it makes great power. It's just part of the whole experience, and having been fortunate to test anything from twin turbos to supercharged engines to owning a Shelby GT350R, which that Voodoo is also one of the most flawed and most special engines ever made. This is like a solidly exciting version of it. Anyways, yeah, this engine is just that special, and it was on my mind that a lot of manufacturers and cars are downsizing their engines. Downsizing engines, forced induction turbos, hybridization, pure electric. Again, this thing isn't going to be around for a lot longer, and if I keep pushing it down the road and go like, oh, in 5 years I'll buy myself like a Huracan Performante, or I'll buy an Aventador or whatever, it might not be the same. We don't know what the landscape will be like, and I'm like, all right, I want this V10 now. So that was definitely a big driving part of choosing this car. The fourth reason is the looks. The R8, when it first came out, that was iconic. The looks, the daytime running lights, the shape. It was an Audi. It was the new flagship Audi sports car. And the fact that it was an Iron Man, which is one of my favorite movies. I mean, it was just an awesome movie, one of the best Marvel movies. The R8 has an iconic design, the side blades, and the fact that you were getting essentially a Lamborghini Gallardo, an Audi 4 for a little less money, was awesome. As the R8's gone on, I think the styling has stayed awesome. It's sharpened up with this Gen 2. They kind of changed up the side blades a little bit. It looks really nice, clean, and modern. I still think the Gen 1 refresh is aging very, very well. That's still a awesome looking supercar, sports car, and it turns heads. And yeah, so looks of it. I mean, it's very important to me that I like the way a car looks, which obviously is why I'm not buying a new M4. But this thing, it still just looks great. I originally wanted like a really colorful one, like supercars should look like Skittles. I use that hashtag all the time, and instead somehow I ended up back in a white car. I've had so many white, gray, and black cars, and I wanted something colorful. This is Ibis white. It does have that red stripe, which is OEM. That is from Audi. It's on the window sticker, just this vinyl graphic that's supposed to imitate the livery of the 2018 R8, I think the GT3 race car. So for the RWS, you could have that option on, but the Gen 2 R8 looks great in every single iteration. This one doesn't have any carbon fiber from the factory. I found that quite amusing. You could option interior carbon, but the outside of the RWS, no carbon. The blades are painted body color, gloss black upper. I'm gonna probably maybe do some carbon fiber on the car. I don't really mind because it looks great. It's unmistakably an R8, very recognizable, and I just think it looks awesome. I also don't feel like I need a giant wing. Originally, I wanted a V10 Plus, and then all car prices skyrocketed. Like, R8 V10 Plus has climbed literally 20 to 30 grand since I was looking at them. I remember them getting to like 125 for like a good V10 Plus. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I will buy one at like 115. And then they skyrocketed back up to like 150s plus. So, I don't actually think I need to put a big carbon wing on the back. I haven't decided yet. I kind of like the clean look of it. Regardless, the looks is one of the big reasons I chose an R8, a Gen 2 R8 again. And the last one is going to be the value. So, like I just mentioned, prices are up in the entire car market, both supercars, regular cars, trucks, whatever you want to get, due to a variety of external factors right now. But I firmly believe that Gen 2 R8s are a good value. I will consider them a good value. Now, I said this before the whole market went crazy too. When I drove, actually, before I bought this car, I went back and watched all the videos I had done with R8s, specifically Gen 2 R8s. And in the video of my friend Brandon's RWS, I said, this is a really good value to buy this car, and I don't think they're gonna depreciate a ton. I'm gonna reiterate a couple of things in this video again. So, Gen 1 refresh V10s. I'm not going to talk about the ones with are tragic, and I'm not going to talk the ones with gated manuals because those prices have just skyrocketed to the moon, and I very much wish I had kept mine. But anyways, because the Gen 1 refresh had the predecessor to this S-Tronic, a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, those are going to be more comparable because, face it, the E-Gear, the R-Tronic, I don't like that transmission. Anyways, V10s, I think they came down to like 85, but now they've come back to like 100 to 120, get you a very good Gen 1 refreshed. Gen 2s, the Quattro ones, even higher mileage. I saw them in like maybe 35, 40,000 miles, going for 115 to 130. Those are the all-wheel drive ones. V10 Pluses, like I mentioned, climbed up a bit. They were down into 125. Now they're kind of 150, close to 175 for a lot of these now. There isn't anywhere for them to go unless the bottom of the market of the R8 V10s drops to like 50 grand, 60 grand, in which case you're still getting a 500 horsepower V10 mid-engine Audi. That, I think, is going to be a little bit longer down the road. As these things sandwich up, I don't think Gen 2 R8s, even the cheapest, like this one, will be sub 100K cars for quite a while. So I purchased this for $125,000 with 4,000 miles on it, which actually stands to be quite a good deal for the market. I've seen RWSs with comparable miles sell for about 10 to 15,000 more, or at least listed for 10 to 15 grand more than what I paid for this car. Now, I've put 3,000 miles on already, bought it with 4,000. It's over 7,000 now. I bought this car to drive, but as long as it can hold value decently well, I am quite happy. If I can put 30,000 miles on this car over 2 years and I lose 10, 15 grand, I call that a great deal because the smiles in return are going to be just innumerable. So I truly do think that the Gen 2 R8s are a pretty decent value to buy, backed up by the fact that the bottom just can't drop out. This is also the cheapest of the Gen 2 R8s. My MSRP on this car was $151,000 because rear-wheel drive, no interior carbon. They topped out at pretty much like $155,000. You had the premium pack, which brings Bang & Olufsen extended leather. You see, I have this really nice red leather, Alcantara in the headliner. This one doesn't have the interior carbon, which I don't really care. I don't miss that at all. It has Apple CarPlay. It has the V10, it has the transmission. That's what you need in this car. So brand new at $151,000, this was one of the most value-oriented of the Gen 2 R8s because it was rear-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive. It was limited, which is kind of fun, but like I mentioned, they promptly made that less special by making the second gen refresh rear-wheel drive standard. But those are the top 5 reasons why I think, well, those are the top 5 reasons why I bought another Audi R8 V10, which when I think about it is a little bit of a ridiculous statement. I remember in high school dreaming about buying a Mustang 5.0, a GT. I was like, okay, these might depreciate to 25 grand because 2009 Mustangs are now 25 grand. So I'll buy a 2015, the first of the S550s. Now I'm on my second R8 V10. It's a great car. I like it a lot. There are a couple things that I don't really like about it and plan on changing some of those. I'll do those in a couple, in a different video I'm about to film. But that's the reason why, those are the reasons why I bought another Audi R8 V10. And so far, I mean, I've put 3,000 miles on this thing in 2 months, and not a single regret in buying this car, especially in today's marketplace, for sure. So if you're thinking about buying a Gen 2 R8, hope this video helped. I think I might start getting questions because I do still get a lot of questions on the RS7, on the i8, just the vehicles I've owned. I'm trying to do a better job of filming videos of vehicles that I've owned. For some reason, I always just forget to. I just drive them around, like the RS7. Literally 2 weeks before selling it, I was like, oh crap, I've got these 3 videos I wanted to film. I need to do those before this car is no longer mine anymore. So we'll space those out. A couple changes coming to the R8 soon. Some minor, like tints, because I'm driving a fishbowl right now. Some moderate, like a titanium exhaust from B-Road build. Cannot wait for that one. And with that, we'll conclude this video. I'm so happy I have this R8. Thank you guys for all the support. The Shelby is still in the garage. I'm getting passed by everybody. I'm doing the speed limit. All right, fine. The Shelby 350R is still in the garage. Film some videos of that soon. Oh, that V10. Thanks for watching.